This is the Brewer and the Baker, a baseball card podcast.
Come on, get up!
Where two collectors share their journey through the hobby.
Yeah.
Here are your hosts, Mitch and Dan.
Times, static attic vibe is what we provide for your mind, so you can step aside and wine and dine upon the lyrical find, the steady rockin' over calibrated.
Well, welcome, folks.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, Dan. We do have a special guest today.
We do. We're very excited.
Yeah. Dan, would you like to introduce or?
Sure.
Yeah.
We have Brian Rothmuller here. He is he's a professional photographer, which a little bit of jealousy on my end. That sounds like an amazing job to me. His Instagram is sports card photographer.
Yep.
Follow him on Instagram. He posts pictures of athletes and the cards they ended up on.
Yeah.
All the time.
Post
He
the
was very
card.
busy this last week or so, 2 weeks or so, with the Series 1 that came out.
Probably have one of his cards out there. More than likely, especially if you've been collecting any baseball in the last few years, you've got one of his photos.
At least one.
At least one.
Probably a whole pile of them.
Yeah, quite a few of them from this year too. Series 1 definitely was loaded.
Before we get to that, though, our socials.
Yes.
Our Instagram is a Brewer Baker Podcast, and you can get at us on Gmail at brewerbakerpodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us there.
On Instagram, not Gmail. Gmail's a little bit longer format.
That would be
but
weird. Speaking of our socials, I'd like to thank everybody who reached out to us from our last episode, because at the end of the episode, I had a parody song that I had a lot of fun creating. It was the most ambitious project I think I've done. I've done a few of them for the Pack to the Future before we started doing this. They were not nearly as ambitious as the one that I did this last time around.
It was fun. He stood here in my dining room here where we record and
screamed,
scared my dog.
The dog came up and checked on me a couple times.
Yeah.
It was fun. So thank you for everyone who reached out. I'm sorry for everyone who listens on Russian YouTube. It was taken down. Yeah. Spotify didn't like it either. When we first dropped it,
Got hit with a strike.
You got hit with the strike. I appealed it. I didn't suspect that it would work. It has so far. The appeal, it's still up. So I have the episode locked and loaded without the song, just in case it gets taken down for whatever reason. But yeah, it's still up. So apparently the appeal worked.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But
so yeah, thanks everyone for reaching out.
Yeah. So nothing really huge for hobby up. I mean, we do have some hobby updates.
Oh, we got lots, but we got more important things.
Yeah, we got important things. So we're gonna knock one thing out here, and it is we both opened our jumbo hobbies of Series 1.
Uh-huh.
I hit a Billy Williams for the Cubs on the 91 parallel on card auto. Dan happens to collect on-card Hall of Fame autos, 87 induction, if I remember that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Last playing year was 76, so it was 11 years. So probably second ballot, if I'm not mistaken, but something. Anyway, so we are going to do a trade real quick. I'm trading him that 91 parallel, and he is...
I have a 2015... Yordan Alvarez autograph card,
which I'm very. Yordan has been an auto that I've been looking to get. Tragic story, but
Yeah, we don't have to get into that
here.
But very important for the Royals World Series run and World Series runs in 24 and 14 and 15, and was an important piece of the Royals pitching going into the future until he passed away in January of 2017. So a bit of a legend among Royals fans like us. So I have a few others in my collection. I was happy to give that one up to add to my PC. So,
well, thank you, Dan.
Not a problem. So we brought on Brian because Stadium Club, by the time this releases Thursday, this drops in a couple days. We're recording Tuesday, the 17th. And we're going to drop on Thursday, the 19th.
And Stadium Club
will have been released on the 18th. So
figured a photography-heavy set.
Yes, we figured we'd bring on a sports photographer. I know for a fact that he has plenty of photographs that ended up in Stadium Club over the years. I've seen his Instagram reel, so I know they're there. So Brian, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So I guess first and foremost, just if you would tell us a little bit more about yourself, just a little background, what got you into photography. Have you always been interested in sports photography, or has it been multitude of other things and this is just kind of where you landed? Or just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I grew up in the Bay Area. I was a big Giants fan growing up. My favorite player was Will Clark. Played baseball. I collected baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards for as long as I can remember when I was young. And then went to college. That sort of stopped. Started working in advertising after college. Always enjoyed taking pictures at games, but I didn't really have any photography background in terms of training or anything like that. And just sort of as time went on, I started to invest in a little nicer camera and lens, and just started watching YouTube and sort of learning the craft a little bit. And then sort of started taking more pictures at events. I'd go to spring training and I'd try to get seats really close and take pictures at the games, and just sort of started perfecting my craft that way while I was still working full-time in advertising. And then I had some health issues arise and wasn't able to work full-time anymore in advertising. So took some time off and started shooting more and started doing it part-time, and then sort of transitioned into being a photographer full-time. So it was kind of a winding journey to get to where I am now. But yeah, I mean, when I started taking pictures, I never thought that my pictures would end up on sports cards. That would probably have blown my mind as a kid and when I first started as well. So it's been quite a blessing, quite a journey, and very blessed to be where I am right now.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it follows the arc at least for Dan's collecting journey, basically, and self-taught. I mean, I'm a brewer by profession, and I did not go to college for it. I went to college for math. Well, started out as engineering and then math, but
it's all math.
It all comes down to math. That's why I defaulted back to that. Anyways, but yeah, self-taught there, and sometimes that self-taught path just kind of leads you to a more organic, just appreciation for where you're at and just enjoying what you're doing for a living. So,
do you mind if I steal your question, Mitch?
Go for it.
Okay. You mentioned you didn't expect your pictures to end up on cards. How did that happen the first time? And, how does what's that process like? How do they, was there a service that you use to do all that?
Yeah. So I work for a wire service. So my photos go up on a wire and they end up on Getty Images, which Topps then goes on Getty Images and purchases all their images from there. So
that's a lot more linear than I thought it was going to be.
Everything I shoot goes up there, and then they just cycle through players and pick photos. And I normally don't find out until the sets are released what photos of mine are going to make it in the set. I'm sort of not involved in any of that process. Once I take the picture, I edit the picture, I crop it, and send it out. And then once it's out, it's out of my hands and in the art director and project manager's hands in selecting what they want to use for whatever products they want to use it for.
Okay. Now, I did see in an article about a Tops Now photo that you had for, gosh dang it, USC. I'm blanking now.
Yeah, it was a Juju Watkins.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, that you had responded to him and said, look, I think it's more meaningful with this picture being not cropped the way that you had it. And from the sounds of it, that's a rarity, but is that something that you're hoping, Tops or other card companies kind of start taking into account? Is you are also an artist in this? You are making that composition, or is that something?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty
rare?
wild. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, there's been many cases that I've seen something that I'm like, oh, well, I don't really understand why they cropped it that way, or cut off his hand, or cut off his hand, his leg or his arm, or it would have been better if they zoomed in more or zoomed out more. Obviously, I'm not the art director who's creating the card, so what their vision is might not be what my vision is. But yeah, in that case, it was just I was frustrated in the sense that I thought it would have been a really cool card if her hand wasn't cut off, and so I did make a tweet. I didn't think it would go anywhere, and then I think I got up the next morning and I saw that like 20,000 people had looked at it, and then it turned into I think in the end it was like 800,000 views or something like that, and Tops tweeted it and said that they fixed it, and it was just it was wild. I mean, I was glad that they took it seriously.
I mean, you're there capturing.
They do so many products that they really need someone to just look at everything before someone signs off on it, and I'm sure they do, but it's just little things like hands or arms, legs, just sort of getting cut off in a little way that just sort of kind of ruins the image a little bit. So sure, it won't be the last time, but it was just something that bothered me that day, and maybe I was a little grumpy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna tweet and see if anything comes of it. So
a Tops Now product is a lot easier to fix than some of the other stuff.
Well, yeah.
Well, by the time I'd see something in Series 1, it would be like, okay, well, that's not going to be fixed because it's been produced 3 months ago and everything's done. So it was rare in that instance where it could be fixed, and maybe that's why I said something, because I was like, oh, this is really easy fix. Like they haven't printed these yet. I mean,
right?
That they haven't finished selling them yet, so they don't know how many they're going to print. So yeah, it turned out to be a good story, and I think it gave them some goodwill. People in the hobby were like, oh, they actually listened to someone who creatively gave them some feedback, which that probably doesn't happen all the time. So yeah, it was a fun little thing that happened. I went viral for 24 hours and then went back into oblivion.
So then I guess with that, like, obviously their art director, any of the manufacturer art directors have that kind of final say. How do you feel about your photography being put onto, say, an insert? Like, I'm not sure if you took that one. It's got really bad. It's the Rivals.
No, that's photoshopped. Actually, that's a picture of him in his Japanese uniform, and they photoshopped the Dodgers image on it.
So then, like, yeah. So some of them then are.
You could say they're doctored or altered. Yeah. I mean, that stuff doesn't bother me. I mean, I know like a lot of the. I shot a high school basketball tournament over the weekend, and these guys are going to Kansas, Arizona, Kentucky, whatever, and I know that they're just going to take those photos and Photoshop the college jerseys on, and that's why I take them, so they have photos that they can use.
Okay.
They've gotten so much better at that. In the 80s when you would see them like airbrushing a hat, it was like. It looks so bad, like you could totally tell. I mean, there's still moments where you're like, oh, that looks like it's photoshopped, but yeah, that's come such a long ways that most people don't even know that, most of Yamamoto's stuff that came out early last year was all photoshopped.
It's all, yeah.
And Roki's stuff was all photoshopped. Even the stuff that's coming out now, like later 2025 stuff, is some of it is still photoshopped stuff. So
gotcha. Yeah, just a smaller pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the pitchers, just a smaller pool. They're only pitching maybe once a week or twice a week.
Well, the product lead times are so far in advance too. That's the problem. I mean, it's like 6 to 9 months out. They need. I mean, Roki got hurt, so he didn't pitch a lot last year too. And Yamamoto, same sort of similar when he came up too. He pitched for a couple months and then, was out for a little bit. So
yeah,
I try to shoot as much as I can, like the first couple of games in April, because that's when a lot of the images are pulled from. Because for the new players, at least, because they need to get them in products as fast as they can, especially if they're hand signing stuff. Like all the hand signing stuff is all Photoshop, because they just can't get it to the player and wait for the player to sign it and then, get a new picture in there. It's just, it doesn't work with their product timelines.
Getting a photo out, getting it edited, and then uploaded to the wire for them to take, a lot of the time there is that. What I guess what I'm taking from that is there is a lot of, you just get a image with them and then they do a lot of that back, not editing, but I mean it is editing, but making it fit. You
mean like the photoshopping stuff?
Yeah.
Like when they're
So like if you're taking something in April, what Series 2 is first week of June, middle of May, something like that now. I mean, that's
Series 2 will still be Photoshop stuff. There's no way that they'll get stuff from April into Series 2. So it's always Update that has sort of the new photos.
Gotcha.
And with the amount of college products that are out now, and it's like, they don't have a ton of pictures to use. So it's whatever they can get. They got to do what they can with it. So
gotcha.
I'm just going through my list of questions, and they're kind of bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, sorry.
You right at the beginning of Series 1 when it came out, you were going through a whole bunch of the photos that you found, and one of your posts was massive, and I think it got really good response. Quickly tell the story of the Kershaw.
Yeah, so when I started this account, I think it was 2021. So I've been doing it 5 years. Basically, I would write the story behind the photo. So I would write a couple paragraphs of, what the game was, where I was, what I was thinking as I was taking it, what the goal was, and then sort of my thoughts on, do I like how they use the photo in the card? Do I like the product? Do I not like the product? Here's sort of how much it was. So I did that for a while, and then I had a son, and my time went into raising him. So he's almost 4. He loves baseball, but I don't get the amount of time to do that these days. So I try to do it every so often, and that's what I did with the Kershaw one. I thought it was a sort of a unique photo that people were sort of talking about on YouTube when they were opening products that made them pause when they were, flipping through their breaks. That's sort of how I know that the picture has some sort of impact on people versus just, a batting stance picture where it looks like everything else. This picture was a little more unique. So yeah, I just went into the story about the day and where I was positioned in the photo wells at Dodger Stadium, and my thought process behind trying to capture the moment of getting the 3,000 strikeout, and just how I'm constantly thinking, sometimes overthinking about where I should be. There's so many different variables about whether he's going to turn towards me, whether he's going to turn towards his family, whether he's going to turn towards his teammates, how he turns after he strikes out. Like, is his throwing motion make him go towards first base or third base? All those sort of things. And so I talk about all that, and then sort of how in the end, how I took the photo that was used on the card. So I wish I could do more of that. And, I think a lot of this stuff I post doesn't necessarily warrant that. If it's just a pitcher hitting the ball or, Yamamoto throwing a pitch, like unless it's like some sort of unique environment where he's, reacting to something, where he's screaming, or, I've the Mookie Betts card in flagship this year is my photo too, and he's kind of like jump throwing to first. I like the photo, but I don't like love the photo because you can't really see the ball. It's kind of behind his head. Yeah. But I still thought it was a cool photo to post. But like when I see it, like I kind of want to write a story about it, but I also like every time I see it, it bugs me that I was like a second late or a second early in terms of capturing what I really wanted to capture. And also, as he jumps to throw the ball, like the player who was running to first actually ran right in front of me as he's throwing the ball. So like the frame of that would be good for the card of him throwing the ball. The player's right in front of him. So
see, that just sounds like good.
That's a good story for people to like, understand that we can only do so much. Like there's so many variables. Like,
why didn't you get that one? Well, yeah, it's still an active game. Yeah. I can't, we're not posing them.
So like, that's, it's cool. It's cool when you see cards or your photos on cards, but there's also moments where I see it and I'm like, oh, I know there was one frame that would have been better than the other. Something happened. The umpire ran in front of me. The player ran in front of me. A coach ran in front of me. Someone's arm got in the way. Like whatever. My camera focus like broke for a second. That actually happened on an Ohtani home run in the playoffs 2 years ago. He swung, he hit it, and he's running up the first base line like screaming. And my focus just broke on my camera for like the rest of the game, basically.
Oh no!
So I had to switch cameras. But I got one frame of him like good, so that I was like happy with that. But also like I'm like, out of all the times for this to happen, like what are the odds that it would happen at that moment when it's never happened to me ever before? Like it was just one of those moments. So.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on getting the shot of Kershaw. I think that particular card is going to go down as in his pantheon. It's going to be one of the more important cards, at least image-wise. It's going to be very collectible in the future. Kind of, to me, it's similar to the, I don't know if it's 93 or 94 Topps George Brett, his last card. Again, it's just an iconic shot. And I think it's gonna do the same thing. So, congrats on that. That was an amazing photograph.
That.
So, when you show up to a stadium, do you come in with a goal in mind? For instance, do you go in thinking I'd like to focus on these 2 or 3 athletes or whatever may be, or do you just take what's given to you when you show up?
Or a combination of both, I suppose.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of both. I mean, I'm a sports fan, so I know the players. I know when a player gets called up. I know who the hot, like, young players are who, might be top prospects who might not play in the game, but still, it'd be good to take pictures of them either in batting practice or in the dugout, that sort of stuff. And I feel like I have an advantage over some photographers who don't keep up with that sort of stuff or aren't sports fans. Yeah, I mean, every game I sort of have a plan in place. I get to the game for batting practice, which normally starts, it's a 7 o'clock game. Batting practice normally starts around 4, so I'm there around 3:30 or so.
It's a 7-hour day.
Yeah. And then the drive, I live in Orange County, and the drive to LA is always a fun drive. That's an hour and a half or more. Yeah, I mean, batting practice used to be where I would always get photos that would end up as, image variations or other sort of stuff. I feel like they're not using those as much lately, especially in Series 1. I saw a lot of like the golden mirror pictures were like the players walking in their street clothes, which is fine, but like they did a ton of those, which I thought was a little overkill. I'd rather see them in some sort of unique picture, like either in the dugout with the uniform on, or maybe a charity event where they're passing out pizzas. There's just something different versus just them walking in street clothes. But I normally shoot batting practice, focusing in on the star players who don't always take batting practice. Shohei never takes batting practice, so he'll if he's doing a bullpen session, he'll be out there a little bit, but try to get interactions between the two teams. If the Dodgers are playing like the Padres, Yamamoto and Shohei always go over to talk to Hugh Darvish during batting practice. So like getting pictures like that, just being out there. And then I go back in, eat some dinner, and then sort of get in position. Most games we have assigned positions at Dodgers. Since Ohtani's been there, that's been the case. I prefer not having an assigned position because then I can, like, if the pitcher's left-handed, I want to be on first base side versus if he's left-handed, I don't want to be on third base side. So, but I mean, you can get unique. There's 3 different positions, and then there's outfield as well that you can shoot from. But if Ohtani's pitching each of those 3, you get unique pitchers. The third base is just the classic, throwing the ball. And then from the other side, you get, a little different pitchers. So I try to get the variety instead of staying in one spot. Constantly thinking about that. I'm always in the dugout early, so when the players come out from the clubhouse with their bats and gloves and all that stuff, I always like to take those pictures. Those are always, they have a little more personality. They're like smiling and, not as serious. So you can get some good pictures. I got some great pictures of Salvador Perez just blowing bubbles before he went out to the bullpen. And then he wanted to see the pitcher because he thought it was a good bubble. So that doesn't happen very often, but Salvy's kind of a unique.
That sounds
unique
like him.
guy. So.
Yeah, that's he.
That sounds like him.
Yeah. So I'm taking pictures when they're warming up, taking pictures, getting ready for the game, thinking about at Dodgers. We have to go underneath sort of the dugout to edit our pictures during the game. So I normally have to leave the game for a couple innings. So I'm trying to figure out when the best time to leave is. Normally, the best time to leave is after an Ohtani at bat because you have hopefully at least another inning before he gets up again. But that can be challenging too. If they hit around, you're stuck underneath and nothing you can do about it because you can only switch out during innings. So, I go underneath. I edit maybe 15 pitchers or so during the game and another 15 after. And then the next day or next couple of days after that, I maybe upload another 60 or so, depending on the game or what the player is. Normally, if it's 7:00 game, the games are a little quicker now, which are nice. I'm out of there 10:30 ish, and then another hour drive home or so. So in bed around midnight or so. So if you do back-to-back games, that gets a little rough.
Friday,
but
Saturday,
it's a blessing to be there. I'm sure there'd be 100 people in line to take my position if I didn't want it anymore. So, but it's definitely, you're there. The minute you become a fan as a photographer and get caught up in the moment is the minute you miss like the best shot of the game.
So,
and when I was sort of starting out, like that was hard for me because I was such a sports fan and I'd be like, oh, this is a big moment. And I'd start to like, my blood pressure would start to go up. My hand would start like, clenching my camera more. I just found like I would just stress myself out way too much. And it's just, you just can't get wrapped up like that. I mean, you can be like, wow, that was a big hit, but you can't be a fan in that situation or you'll miss the photo that you want to get.
That would be me.
So
that would be me.
Yeah. So then I mean,
hard.
You've mentioned that you're born in the Bay Area. Just a fan of the game now, or do you have a set of like who are your teams or?
It's funny because like I was I was a big Giants fan growing up, and I hated the Dodgers as a kid, and it's just different now. It's you're in the dugout, you see the players, you see how they are, like they're and as a kid you're like, oh, that person's like mean or like a jerk, and most of the players are just good guys and have families and love the game, and maybe that's maturity as you get older too, but yeah, I mean it's really hard to be a fan of a specific team as a photographer now. I just feel like, and I definitely don't watch as much sports as I used to either, because I'm constantly at a game.
Yeah.
Before games, they'll have, we have a TV in our area and they'll have games on, but it's just, it's not like I can sit down like if I'm shooting an NFL game, I can't sit on my couch on a Sunday and watch games all day. It's just because I'm working. So it's just different.
That's partly what collecting has done for me, is gotten me back into the story of the player versus the wins and the losses, and more learning about the player and being more connected to the people playing the game. And I'm happy to hear that, yes, you have to have that disconnect, I guess, for lack of a better term, because you're still doing a job, but at the same time, like, you're then getting to interact and see those players and realize that they're just loving what they're doing. And like, for me, that's what collecting has gotten me back into, is realizing that these people are loving what they're doing and having fun with it too, I guess. So it's fun for me to hear that you get to see that on a deeper level, but it's not, what I'm picking up from it is not incorrect, I guess.
Speaking of collecting,
yeah, and when they make mistakes, seeing how they're reacting in the dugout. I mean, you see it on TV, but just feeling like the energy either suck or the good energy too. It's pretty interesting to see that. So, the amount of crap that these players get on social media these days, if they make a mistake, and it's just like,
well, or the live feedback in stadium. I mean,
yeah. They're getting booed off the mound, and then they come in the dugout and they look like, death. Like, I'm like, just thinking,
they just don't want to get back out
person.
there.
Like,
Speaking of collecting, do you collect the cards that your photos end up on?
I do. It's hard. Like, I'm trying to build a collection for my son right now, so figuring out what that looks like is sort of my challenge. I feel like I've sort of narrowed it down to like the goats of who I'm shooting, I guess, sort of like, so I'm building an Ohtani collection for him. There's definitely some Tiger Woods cards that I have set aside for him that I've shot, but just trying to, because there's so many, it's just like, it's a card of a random player that doesn't, unless the photo like means something to me. A lot of the throwback stuff that they do to the older designs, those always like have a special place in my heart, because it's like, those are the cards that I collected as a kid, like, and seeing my photos on that design is cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything to my son, but like for me, like seeing those, like I'd rather have, something on 86 tops or 87 tops of photo of mine than like the new stuff, just because it's like, it tugs at those like heartstrings of my collecting. But yeah, I mean, and anytime my photo is used on packaging, like I'm trying to like get, at least one pack of those and sort of set it aside. So I have like a box of all that. So that's, one sort of fun thing to collect. But it's hard because it's like, the really cool stuff, I'm not paying like the amount of money that I need to, especially Ohtani. It's like the worst
Right.
person to possibly collect, because everything's so expensive. I have the picture of the home field advantage card and flagship from Ohtani. It's like, I want to get that, but that's pricey. And then the wood one is also my photo. That's also pricey. So it's just like I gotta pick and choose.
Well, I gave
what
Dan
I can get.
Gave Dan the Jose Ramirez one that you took, and traded that one off for.
From last year, yeah.
From last year, didn't realize that was one of yours until I was going through, and that So they were playing. They're playing the
Dodgers, I think.
Okay, I was trying to think because I've also been out onto Icons, onto the Sports Wire, and looking just overall at some of the other images that aren't selected, and holy cow, I've lost so many hours just going back and looking. Well, like you said, I mean, you get not every single second, but like you're getting, like I'm looking at the Teoscar from the wild card game, like with the sunflower seeds. Like it just blows my mind that hasn't been picked up and used in something yet, or that at least that I know of. But like that's such an awesome photo.
Yeah, no, I have that reaction to certain pictures too. Like I'll take one and I'll be like, oh, that's definitely gonna be on a card. And most of it, like now that I sort of know what they're looking for, and they've changed a little bit with using more home jerseys in their cards versus the combination, especially in flagship. It's mostly home jerseys, but
I guess I never noticed it, but yeah. Actually,
yeah, they like I think like 2 to 3 years ago they started focusing on that a little more. But yeah, I'll take a photo and I'll be like, oh, that's got to be on a card, and then it doesn't show up on a card, and then I'm just like, that's I don't maybe it just didn't strike a chord with whoever's looking for whatever they're looking for. But and then there's ones that I'm like, oh, that'll never end up on something, and then there it is. Like, okay, that was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
There might be a better one right next to it, but that's the one that they chose. So,
yeah. Do you have a favorite subject to shoot, or like a favorite athlete?
Every sport is so different. I mean, I feel like basketball, you have sort of the most control over the situation because they're running at you, they're going towards you. There's only sort of one position you can be in, so you're not like moving around. Football's hard because you never know like how they're going to catch the ball, where they're going to catch the ball. If you're shooting the quarterback, then you're missing the wide receivers catching the ball down the field. So there's a lot of variables on that. Yeah. Baseball's great. I like baseball, but it gets monotonous too after a while. I probably shot like 45 to 50 games last year with Dodgers and Angels. I don't shoot any Padres games. And everything starts to look the same. Like halfway through the season, it's like, oh, I already took this picture, and
yeah, this is the seventh time I've taken.
Like, yeah, it's like, okay, well,
how many shots of Ohtani do you need of him in his windup, right?
right. Well, when he hadn't pitched, like literally
that's true.
The first game he pitched one inning, and I think I posted 100 pictures of that one inning. Like every single pitch, like I was just taking a picture. And normally, I do that anyways, but I wouldn't post them because like who needs 100 pictures? But in that instance, like it was the first time he had thrown as a Dodger. So that was a unique situation. Yeah. Baseball gets hard towards the end of the summer. And then, you get the trade deadline, which sort of invigorates me because, new players come in. So new players, new uniforms. And then that's sort of the time where, late summer, sort of
September
early fall, maybe some new players get called up. Mm-hmm. So that sort of invigorates me. I shoot so heavy in April that like by like end of May, like I'm kind of fried for a little bit. And then
I don't blame you. I was curious, totally change of subject. Did you go to the Waste Management to shoot this couple weeks, 2 weekends
in Arizona?
Ago? Yeah.
No, I wasn't there.
I figured it was right there. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I've never shot that before. I've shot Torrey Pines a lot. I didn't shoot it this year, and then I'll shoot Riviera this week, which is in LA. That tournament's all about getting pictures of Tiger. He's not playing, but like he always presents the trophy at the end, so he's always decked out, and his gear, and since he doesn't play much, it's like a perfect opportunity to get pictures of him in golf attire, even though he doesn't have a club. Yeah, golf is fun to shoot. It's just, a lot of walking and
Sure.
Much larger footprint.
Yeah.
You get on a pretty course like, San Diego's beautiful. You see the water, the sunset's beautiful.
Pebble Beach.
Pebble's cold. Pebble's hard to walk. It's like really hilly, and some of the holes, like if you get sort of to 9 and 10, they're like really far away. So if you need to get back to another hole, if something starts happening where you need to like, someone just got a bogey and the leaderboard totally changed, you need to get moving somewhere else, you're kind of stuck. So
you're not just taking photos for cards, you're taking it for other products as well. I mean, or is it just strictly cards that your product or that your photos are being used for?
No, I mean, cards are a large percentage of it. But my photos are on online news stories. If you're watching ESPN and they're profiling a player or something and they have a picture next to the player stats, like it would be there. Billboards, anytime there's an image that needs to be bought, it can be one of mine can be used for that. So
okay,
I just focus on cards because like I have a passion for it, and I know there's a couple other photographers that sort of have the same passion, but I just feel like it's a unique thing to show. If I showed all my stuff getting picked up in magazines and that sort of stuff, it doesn't, it's exciting, but like I'd rather have a photo on a card or on packaging like that makes me, even though it probably doesn't pay as much as something that might be on a billboard, obviously, but makes me happy. So
yeah, it's definitely still a rush to see it out there, but it's not as much of one to have it be, like we've said, become an iconic picture of that person that's known. You think of like 89 Griffey's and stuff like that, or the 92 Jeter, like those sorts of things have just become iconic with those players. The 01 Tiger, that sort of stuff. Like you just know that image, and that's just more exciting than seeing it like, oh, hey, I'm holding up, I'm just standing in the dugout and it's just on a news article somewhere.
Sure. And I think also like, if it's on a billboard, the billboard's up for a couple months and then it goes away. Like, if it's on a card, some person who has that card might give it to his kid, might give it to his kid. Like there's going to be a lifespan of it. Like, if it's on ESPN, it's on ESPN, ESPN.com. Like, okay, it's with a story. Like that story is going to be yesterday's news in 5 minutes. So like it gets more eyes on my pictures because it's going in people's hands and it's an actual thing that they can hold. Magazines used to be that, like Sports Illustrated, when I was first starting, like that was like, wow, if my photos got in Sports Illustrated, that would be amazing. And they did, but like Sports Illustrated is completely different now. It's like, it's not a weekly magazine. It's a monthly magazine that no one really even reads. So it's just different. So, if I can go to Target and see my photo on packaging of cards, how many people are going to go through Target that day and see that too? Like, are they going to stop and look? Like, are they going to pause? Like my son goes to the card aisle and he goes, Daddy, show me which ones are your pictures. And I'm like, well, those are none of them are on there right now, but thank you. Like, it was like, we went the other day and it was like a bunch of wrestling and just nothing that had mine on it. But I think for a while when he was younger, it was like, I had the Ohtani photo from last year's Series 2. So that was in Target forever. So every time I went to Target, like he would know that. But so that's cool. Like that means more to me than other stuff. So
yeah, and kind of building a portfolio, I guess, for yourself, but being able to find what's meaningful to you as well, and then to your son, and being able to pass that on. Again,
change of subject. I'm sorry, my minds are. I'm trying really hard to ask good follow-ups, but I've got just a couple other thoughts in my mind. Kind of another throwaway question. in the photo well. Are you trying to elbow Randy Johnson out of the way?
So Randy has not been in the photo well with me. I know Griffey's been, I think he went to Japan last year to shoot. I know he's been like at the Masters and shot some college games, but I haven't been at a game that he shot at. So yeah, no, I haven't interacted with any athlete type photographers. A couple times, you can tell like the athletes are interested in photography. They'll like, they'll either ask to see like the picture or like sometimes they'll grab like the team photographer's camera and try to take some pictures with it. So that's fun to see. But no, we don't. If Randy was in the photo wall at Dodger Stadium, there'd be problems because he's too tall and all the fans behind would be yelling. I mean, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'3", and I can't stand on the riser because the fan, like, it blocks some of the fans' view behind us. So yeah, he would take up too much space.
One other question from me: Are you already making plans for 28 LA Olympics?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. I haven't sat down and looked at the schedule yet to try to map that out. There's definitely sports that in the Olympics that you can make money off of, and then some that you probably won't make as much money off of. But it's I've shot a Super Bowl. Like, shooting the Olympics is definitely a goal, but I've heard it's like the highest high and the lowest lows, just because it's like 2 weeks of just no sleep and like constant going from one place to another place, and then just a lot of work. So I am cautiously awaiting that. I'm hoping that they let the baseball players play in the Olympics that year, the majors. There's been talk about that, so that would be at Dodger Stadium. That would be kind of cool. I'd love to shoot basketball, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't pick a better city to live in terms of teams. I mean, we have 2 basketball teams, 2 football teams. We have big name players. Ohtani's doesn't only make me money in the U.S., but internationally, I mean, with him and Yamamoto and Roki, like, my sales are bigger internationally than they are here. I'm just lucky that I'm here at this moment and this time to be able to capture all that stuff. So
then I guess with that international market, World Cup this summer.
It's funny because I don't like soccer. I don't know. I didn't grow up playing soccer, and I never like got into it. My son likes playing it, so maybe if he plays it, like, I'll get into it at some point. But yeah, I mean, I could shoot the World Cup. I just like, for me, it like doesn't. I'd rather shoot like something that interests me more. But that's probably like, people probably roll their eyes when I say that. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to shoot it or not. It's here, and
it's a new subject at the very least.
Yeah, I shot the women's USA team a couple of weeks ago when they were playing a scrimmage game down here, and soccer is not one of my favorite sports to shoot either. The field's huge. It's just nothing really happens for most of the game.
They're running.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
They're running.
I'd rather shoot like a NCAA tournament game than the World Cup, but I might be the only person in the world who thinks that. So,
hey,
but that's me.
Yeah, I just figured, since you're talking about the international market for you,
for me, it's like I don't follow soccer, so like I don't know all the players. So like, I mean, when I shot the women's team, like I knew some of the players, but like where I feel like I have sort of a unique advantage over the other photographers is like I know all the high school up and coming basketball players that are going to be playing in college next year. Like I shoot them. Like I know all the prospects. Like I'm looking at prospect lists for all the teams in baseball, and when they get called up, like I'm on that. Like someone's making their major league debut. I'm making sure that I'm getting a ton of pictures of the patch that they're wearing. Like I have sort of a unique advantage over some photographers in the sense that that's just sort of my everyday life. If I shot a soccer game, I wouldn't know, like, okay, I got a good picture of this person. Who am I focusing on? Like, am I focusing on, it's just different. So
that's fair. And I mean, college anymore is becoming a bigger and bigger market
it's
every
huge
day. So
are we ever going to find you here?
It's crazy. I get paid more per image for my college cards than I do for the baseball cards.
Are we ever going to find you here in Omaha for the World Series, the College World Series?
I'd love to go. I've been to Omaha once. I went to a NCAA tournament game, like, God, it was probably 15 years ago or so. And I was in and out. Like I was in for like, I think a day or something. I'd love to come to College World Series. Like when I went to USC, and when I was in school there, they won in 97, I think it was, or 96. That was the old stadium. And
I mean, there's a whole run of them in that era, so
that was so cool to watch those games.
I think 97 was the USC Arizona State game that was 21-14, something like that. I think it was.
And they changed all the bat rules after it.
Yeah.
Like every time someone was up a home run, no lead was safe. But I'd love to come at some point. Maybe when my son gets older and take him out there too. That'd be fun.
It's definitely a riot for kids. I mean, there's multiple youth tournaments in town when it's going on, and so you've got kids from 8 to
from all over the country coming in for it as well, which makes hotels fun to get.
Yeah.
But overall,
that's a good thing about living in LA too for the Olympics. It's like, okay, well, I don't have to pay for a hotel. Like I'm already here, because I'm sure like some people. I went to the London Olympics. I went as a fan, and I brought my camera and took a ton of pictures. But a lot of people who live there just put their stuff on Airbnb and went out of town, went on vacation for 2 weeks, and made a huge amount of money for doing that. So I'm sure LA, that'll be the same.
They do the same thing here for the College World Series every year.
Yeah.
I've exhausted my list.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have others that I would love to hear more about, what hardware you're using and stuff of that nature, but I feel like that might get a little on the
technical
and dry side for it's been years since I've picked up a nice camera or anything. I mean, then again, you can get some pretty nice shots. I'm not even comparing a phone to what you're shooting on, but you know what I mean? Like
the cameras are getting so good now that like the amount of sort of photography skill that you need is not as big as it used to be. I think you still have to have like the thought process of like, okay, I want my camera here, but like once you push the button, like the camera focuses so well now. It's like it's crazy what it can do. But I mean, you still have to anticipate things. If someone gets a base hit, like I'm thinking, okay, do I want to take a picture of the guy sliding into home, or would the better picture be the guy reacting at second base?
Yeah,
that he got a double. Like, what's a better picture for me? Like, for me, most of the time, it's the guy at second base, where everyone else is taking a picture of the guy sliding into home. Like, if it's Ohtani sliding into home, then sure. But like, that thought process as things are going on, and then knowing which players have the flair and which players just don't celebrate, or like, it's like, okay, well, I know he's not going to celebrate, but his teammate is, who didn't make the play, but I need to get my camera on him, especially in basketball. It's like, someone can make a great shot and get fouled, and they're not going to have a reaction, but the guy at the 3-point line who passed him the ball, who's like,
or that bench, or the bench
full of charismatic, totally charismatic, like he's going to scream and flex. Like, my camera needs to be on him, not the guy who made the shot. So like, again, that's like, going back to soccer, like I don't know who those players are. Like in basketball, I know who those players are, and in baseball, I learn who those players are like quickly. Like I'm like, oh, I thought he would react. He, like, especially with new players, you don't know. Like Bryce Eldridge on the Giants, he got his first hit at one of the games I shot last year, I was on him the whole way, and his celebration was just like he just kind of put his hand up and didn't. There was nothing. And it's like, I was like, okay, well, that's I need to catch him in a situation where he's smiling or, joking with an umpire or, talking to one of the other players. Like Mookie does that a ton. He'll go to second base and he'll talk to whoever's over there. Like he'll talk to the umpires. He's just constantly talking.
Yeah.
And whereas most photographers in between the pitches or like there's a meeting on the mound, like they're focused on the game. Like I'm like, okay, Mookie's going over to talk to somebody. Like I need to be on him taking pictures. Like one of my favorite pictures is of him talking to Ohtani when Ohtani was on the Angels, which I think was that last year or the year before that they made a card of, because I knew that was the only picture I wanted that weekend. It was like, because all the talk was, is he going to go to the Dodgers? Is he, so I knew that if there was actually I think there was a replay or something, and Mookie went over there and they gave each other a hug, and I was just like, okay, I can go home now. Like,
yeah,
this is not going to happen in any other games. Like this whole rest of the series, like just anticipating all that stuff and knowing that that's a lot of just work and focus that you have to, in a 4-hour game, you have to be focused.
Picking those meaningful moments that, like one of my favorite cards is of recently is the Shohei and Roki in the dugout. Roki was injured. I think Shohei pitched for, I'm trying to remember the exact. It just really kind of has that big brother teaching little brother a little, or they're just, because Roki's not really, I mean, he can be animated, but not overly animated.
No, he's very reserved,
So when you get those two,
even getting him to smile or like have any sort of like facial thing is very rare. I mean, I took that photo and that one was, in the ninth inning, normally Ohtani takes his hat off and goes to the top step and sort of stands with other players. And I always like to get pictures because normally he's like right next to the photographer. So I always like to take a picture if, it's one of my friends standing right next to him, just because it's funny. They love to post it, but I didn't even see that happening. But the photographer next to me, he was an international photographer, that he's here and he just shoots Ohtani. That's all he does. And he was taking a ton of pictures. And I was just like, what is he taking pictures of? And then I looked over and I saw that and snapped a couple. But that was a rare interaction between those guys where you can actually see them like clearly in the dugout. So
yeah, we need to let you go so you can get back to your real job. And
I can go make dinner for my family.
Yeah. Brian, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Take this time right now to kind of plug your socials and anything else you want to mention.
Yeah, just sports card photographer. I post on Twitter as well, and I think it's sports card photo on Twitter. And yeah, that's about it. I'm excited for baseball season to start. Looking forward to shooting a ton of pictures of Kyle Tucker the first couple games until I don't want to take pictures of Kyle Tucker anymore, which will probably be by the third game. But just feel very blessed to have, a support system who lets me work nights and work crazy hours too with my wife taking care of my son when I'm not here, and just being a supportive light for me as well. So
that was the Brewer and the Baker of Baseball Card Podcast. Thanks for listening and be excellent to each other.